The garden we're going to explore today is an outdoor entertainer's paradise, complete with a pool, a fire pit and a lawn space. It's very different to the traditional front yard that you can see here. I'm Chloe from Been There Dug That. Let's go behind the garden gate. Welcome to Ivanhoe, an inner northeastern suburb of Melbourne. This entrance courtyard gets a few hours of morning sunlight, so the maple tree and the shade-loving ground covers are really happy. This space is also the junction between the old house and the new renovation. Down here there's a creeper that's been planted to climb up these wires and really soften off this black wall. But remember, it's the backyard we're here to explore, so I'll meet you out there. When the house renovations were completed, the owners Richard and Sarah had a beautiful new pool installed. And the backyard was just a great big expanse of lawn with a trampoline in the corner and the beautiful ironbark up here. But they wanted a backyard that was a real draw card for outdoor entertaining. So they called on Paul from Paul Pritchard Design, and this modern Australian garden is what he's come up with. The plant combinations are a great mix of exotics and natives. Richard and Sarah said that a few weeks ago the garden was a riot of colour with lots of things in bloom, but now I can really only spot things like the kangaroo and the goras hanging onto a few flowers. But the different foliage textures and colours add interest year round, which is a really clever design tip. In this garden bed, there's a lovely mix of plants, a lot of which have grey foliage, but there's some pops of dark green with some colour in here for interest. We've got society garlic, the blue chalk sticks, licorice plant here on the side, which will spill over and cascade nicely. It's a really nice little garden bed in what is a very narrow space. Because this is an open and relatively flat garden space, different surfaces are used to create different zones and define the spaces. So if you've got an area that's open and flat and you want to make it feel like it's got different rooms in it, then use different materials underfoot. Got some very productive raised veggie beds here with the corten steel edging and a very happy lemon tree as well. But this area in general back behind them is not used much at the moment. It's got some compost bins and an old seat, but who knows what they'll do with this place in the future. Even though Richard and Sarah's kids are now both teenagers, it was still important for them that they had some lawn space, both for its cooling effect and its permeability. As the backyard slopes towards the house, it's really important to have as many permeable surfaces as possible, and that way water can percolate through rather than running into the house. It was important for the owners that Paul retain as many of the original plants and stones. There's no point throwing things out if they're perfectly fine. So these are the original callistemon or bottle brush, and these mudstones down here were originally all the way out here, but by pushing them back, they've given themselves just a little bit more lawn space. The dark green leaves of this ligularia against the muted tones of the wall and the grey plants are just beautiful. And you can see where this plant gets its common name from, the tractor seat plant. This curved seating area is made from recycled bricks that were from the original house when the extension was done. There's some down here acting as pavers as well, and Richard hand cleaned over 500 of the bricks to be reused in the landscaping. And the top of this curved seat, I can see that these pavers have been used to cap the pool over there, which again connects the spaces together nicely. Pool fences, I find, particularly if they're metal or glass, can have quite a cold feeling to them, but this timber and copper fence meets all the standards, but has a lovely soft and warming vibe to it. It's really nice. The poolside plants are a mix of things that we've seen elsewhere in the garden, but this mandevilla vine that's been planted along this back fence is going to be a real feature when it covers all the black fencing, and its white flowers add a nice pop of colour and contrast. Have you noticed the double fence feature here with the black and the white points? I think that's a really clever way of adding some interest to a fairly standard paling fence. I think the thing I like most about this pool area is just how connected it feels to the rest of the garden. You could have a whole bunch of people here hanging out in the pool and another bunch over here enjoying a barbecue or a fire pit, but they're still going to feel connected. I hope you've enjoyed exploring this outdoor entertainer's paradise with its different zones and rooms, but it's the perfect example of how repeated hardscapings and plantings can tie all those zones together. Let me know in the comments below which was your favourite part of this garden. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because I've got plenty more garden tours coming your way. I'll see you next time.